Hey, I'm James from Soaking Dead Barbecue, and why? Why are we doing this? No, I haven't gone sadistic and suddenly have a hate on for our beloved Kamado Joe parts. In fact, the opposite is true. The number one question I get is, how do I repair a crack while I'm waiting a week or two for a replacement part to arrive? And so after doing some Googling, I came across this refractory cement as one of the best ways to repair a Kamado. And I have zero interest in cracking my own, so I was lucky enough to find a friend in town who has a warranty replacement base. It arrived with some damage in shipping from Amazon, so it's got a little bit of a chip, and he had to wait a couple weeks for a replacement part, and this has just been sitting out, collecting dust for a year since. But since I get asked this question so often, James, how do you repair something while I'm maybe waiting a few weeks for a part to arrive? We need to get to that spot and actually crack a Kamado. So today, we're gonna stress test this. We're gonna get it nice and hot, since the number one thing in my climate I worry about is sudden changes in temperature. So in winter, I'm intentionally slow with how I heat up my Joe and intentionally slow with how I cool it off so that we don't have any of these issues. So today we're gonna get this nice and roaring hot and then dump some ice in it for that sudden change in temperature just to see if we get a nice clean break. And I do need a clean break because that's the number one type of repair that you guys would be doing. Like, we could run this over with a monster truck or do something crazy like that, but that's not just gonna simulate the type of break, and I don't want shards of ceramic everywhere or in my eyes or anything like that. So I think the safest way that I can do this, and do not attempt this at home, is to use heat to get a nice clean stress fracture. And then part two of this video, where you should and would be joining me, is for the actual repair. So again, kids, do not attempt this at home. Let's get cracking. So in case you missed that part, again, this is a bad idea, but I am trying not just to throw caution in the wind. So we've got a bucket of water offside here, just in case I need to extinguish any coals that might fall out. We've got a pool to refresh water. I've got a fire extinguisher and a couple friends nearby. I also plan to be nowhere near this when we drop in the ice with any open-toe shoes, just because, again, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if it's going to explode and fire is gonna fall out. We're gonna have to extinguish that. I'm also doing this on a fireproof concrete surface away from the structures or anything that might be flammable. So that's about as safe as I can make something inherently unsafe. But without further ado, and I'm procrastinating here, let's fire it up and see what happens. So since we don't have the firebox, our fire is going to be exposed to the outer shell. I also don't want a bunch of lumped charcoal falling out the bottom, and I also want to be able to get the fire up higher. So since I can get some extra height with something like some kindling, I've just broken up a couple wood splits, and the plan here is to treat this kind of like I would a solo stove. So let's build a little fire. Our grill blazer grill gun, and like always, let's fire it up. Oh, this seems so wrong. All right, let's let that heat up. This feels like a new low, even by YouTube standards. But we are here for a good reason. I want to actually check the surface temperature of the outside of our grill. The hottest, those marshmallows are going quick. The hottest temperature I've ever seen is sort of 400 or 500 degrees on the outside when doing a clean burn. So let's get my Thermapen IR, which has an infrared temperature reader on the outside. Check here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. That's 504 degrees Fahrenheit on the outside. So this is plenty hot, and I don't see anything cracking, which is a surprise to me since we don't have our charcoal basket. We don't have the ceramic plates that are protecting the outside from those extreme temperatures, and nothing so far has gone wrong. So I'm gonna go suit up in hopefully some flame-proof gear, maybe some steel-toe shoes, and we're gonna get our bag of ice, let this burn down a little bit just in case, so the fire is not raging. But once this burns down a little bit, we'll get our ice and pour it in and see if we don't get that sudden change in temperature. So I'll rejoin you in a couple minutes after I enjoy my marshmallows. Scorched earth. All right, our fire has died down to a manageable level so that if we do get a crack, it's not as if we're going to have an inferno everywhere. I'm incredibly nervous about this, and I cannot stress enough, this is not, Johnny Knoxville. Do not repeat this at home. This is only so we can get a type of crack or fracture that can happen naturally. You don't want to do this intentionally in any way. And so I don't know what's going to happen. So I am going to drop in the ice and run away and hope that nothing bad happens. Moment of truth. 1, 2, 3. Okay, nothing's happened. Don't want to get too close just in case it's one of those things. As soon as you get close, it happens. I'm going to throw the next 2 in and run. Plan B, a little water. Well, to my very big surprise, it didn't crack. So we threw 3 bags of ice at it, 2 buckets of water. This went all the way up after I left it last time to 600 degrees Fahrenheit on the outside. So it was roaring hot and that didn't do it. So I'm just gonna let it continue to cool off. I'm hoping that still maybe in the cool down process, some of that expansion contraction might give us a natural stress fracture that you can get. And if that doesn't work, then we'll move on to plan B, which is going to simulate over tightening our bands. I'm gonna use some tension straps and just over tighten the top and see if we can't get a crack that we're able to fix this way. But so far, it's turning out a little bit more difficult to crack this ceramic base than I thought. So I'm pleased, yet slightly disappointed that 600 degrees Fahrenheit and 3 bags of ice did absolutely nothing. So I'm gonna move a little further away from this and I'll rejoin you in the future once this is cooled off and we can move on to plan B. Okay, this is proving to be a little bit more difficult than I thought. I thought, sure, James, you know, I got 10-15 minutes on the weekend. You could knock out this video and then I could get to repairing it and we will be on to bigger and better things. But here we are a couple weeks later and I have had 0 success getting this baby to crack. I've tried building even bigger, more insane bonfires. I've tried adding in weight from grids like my solo stove grid, which was great for cooking, but absolutely useless for doing anything to help expedite cracking our base so we can get on to repairing it. I've gone through more ice and more water and it's just not happening. So on to plan B. So plan B, I'm gonna go for tension. There's not really a spec online for how tight you should tighten your bands, but reading Facebook groups, there's a lot of worry or anxiety around if I over tighten this, will it just cause my base to split? So I've got a tensioner rope and ratchet. I'm gonna try and crank this as tight as my strength will allow me and see if we can crack it that way. And if not, on vacation, I came up with plan C, which I think will definitely work if we're not successful with the band. So let's get cracking. Okay, so plan B is tension and over tightening our dome to cause a stress fracture. I've just grabbed one of my kids' beach towels here because if we've learned anything when trying to destroy your Kamado, it's always safety first, right? Not that anybody in their right mind would ever do this, but I want to try and stop any shards of ceramic if it just, you know, explodes in on itself, that it doesn't come up and get me in the face or the eyes. So that's the idea here. I'll take you fast forward while I get our ropes all set up and I'll rejoin you when it's time to start cranking really tight. Okay, it's nice and snug. Let's go. That's as tight as I can get it, and as you can tell, I don't hear any cracking sounds, and with that clamp, that's just no way I can go any tighter. So on to plan C. This one though, I'm pretty sure it's gonna work. Let's do it. So what is plan C? A didn't work, B didn't work, but I'm pretty sure C is going to work. So to make C work, I need a couple friends. First, I need some of this sort of instant freeze spray cleaner. So this will take surface temperatures down to about -60 degrees Fahrenheit in a very concentrated area. So unlike before where we're using water and ice and just throwing it at a big area, maybe that wasn't enough to cause that stress fracture that we're after. So this is part one. Part two, I need my motivational speaker. Motivational speaker, you ask? Well, we need some heat, and I think I know just the tool for the job. Yeah, doesn't stand a chance. Okay, so first let's confirm this is doing what we want. I've got my Thermapen IR, which has the infrared reader built right in. So I'm just going to take a surface temperature of the ceramic here. So we are 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Try a few other spots, nothing's changed. So let's just give this a little spray and see what we can change the temperature to. And so we are negative 11 Fahrenheit right there. So I'm pretty sure that's going to do the trick. So maybe I'll give myself a little bit more space. Hopefully you can still see. But let's first get things nice and warm, and then maybe a little bit more gloves. 1 second. Stay as far back as possible. So that's why the grill gun's nice, because I've got the extra distance versus the sous vide gun. Not that you'll be recreating this at home. So what do you say we fire it up? And I'm going to try and concentrate the heat into one area, and that's what we'll blast. Maybe go down sort of middle lower part, just so that it doesn't shatter up near the top. Rejoin you in a second once we've got a nice warm area. It's 433 degrees Fahrenheit. Just give that a little bit more. I think we're ready. I'm getting nervous. I might be procrastinating a little bit. A little bit more heat. All right. Moment of truth. Heaven help us. What? Okay, I've used up one of my cans on the inside, repeated a couple times, no luck, so I'm gonna try the outside. So let's once again get a nice warm spot, fire in the hole. Oh, help us, and spray. What the heck? Nothing. I appreciate at this point, this is starting to feel like a very low budget Johnny Knoxville film, but we are pot committed now. No way I'm giving up on this. So I think we're just gonna have to resort to physical violence and try dropping this thing. So let's go find a spot and get dropping. Okay, we're finishing where I didn't want to start, which is simulating a fall, because I think this will give us many pieces, and all I wanted to show was how to fix a stress fracture that can happen from kind of rapidly cooling or heating ceramics. But that is proving, as we've all learned today, far more difficult to achieve, even without the normal protections like your firebox and everything else that is keeping your ceramic safe from the elements, whether it be heat or cold. So without further ado, Humpty Dumpty, here we go. 43, 44, 45. So those are the big pieces that I have collected. There's still a bunch of smaller ones outside in the front yard. So that is exactly why we didn't start this video with the 3.5 foot vertical drop. As you might expect, that heavy ceramic piece falling straight down from 3.5 feet directly on its side did not end well, and I think I've got so many pieces, including more little scraps and shards, to go collect out front. I'm not going to be able to do the Humpty Dumpty repair job, or well, maybe I could. There's some pretty good sized pieces here, but that's going to be an entire weekend project. Just to tell you, if you find yourself in this boat, there's products like this Rutland refractory cement available. I think Walmart, Costco, Home Depot, Amazon, a couple other places sell it, as well as articles online that I've seen, eggs before fall out of their carts in windstorms, hurricanes, or things like that, or someone knocked it over. And since that's their only grill, thankfully mine are safe and sound. The owner didn't mind taking the entire weekend to patch it up. But I think to dedicate an entire Saturday and Sunday to try and reassemble these parts just to make the point that you can do it doesn't make as much sense as repairing that original hairline fracture that we're after. So, what did we learn? Definitely learned it's harder to crack these ceramic components than I thought. but the common things that I have seen online, whether they're heat deflectors, this would be a great fix. Or it's your control tower top, if you use that side force trying to remove it and you cracked it and you're waiting a couple weeks for a warranty replacement to come out, something like this is a great fix and can get you back to grilling in no time. And if for whatever reason, if you push your Joe off of your deck and let it fall down the stairs and you end up like this, and you have the time, energy, and patience to do it, I've absolutely seen successful patch jobs come together. But for me, I'm not going to spend my next weekend, trying to put this all back together. So I hope somehow, if you find yourself in this unfortunate circumstance of needing to repair your Joe, that this product serves you well. Let me know down in the comments down below, or tag me on Instagram of your repair job, and I'll be sure to share that with others. Until next time, though, I'm James from Soaking Dad Barbecue signing off. Remember, don't be afraid to fire it up.